right, so this one is a really good question, and I'm about to do an FAQ on this kind of dynamic. But the question is, do you think 14 years old is too young to start weighted ball training? So I think we're kind of in this industry or this perception of weighted balls, and it's like, okay, well, if I want to throw harder, I need to do weighted balls and so on and so forth. But it's not really the case. I think weighted balls are a great tool, just like really anything that we talk about in the development industry, as far as baseball products or tools that provide feedback. And I think weighted ball is just another one of those. I did an article on weighted balls and authentic throwing mechanics, and I think the position that I'm in now, obviously I'm not 14, nor was I in this kind of day and age when I was 14, so it's probably drastically different. Weighted balls weren't even a thought when I was 14, but I look at them now in the sense of just a really good tool to provide feedback in the sense of authentic throwing mechanics, right? So we hear a lot of questions regarding, hey, why is my pull down or run and gun throw this much higher than my mound throw, and this mound throw is this much higher than my flat ground? Like, why am I seeing all these disconnects? And I think that kind of goes hand in hand with like not having authentic throwing mechanics, and especially at that age, because it's a really interesting dynamic, right? So it's like we can go one side of the spectrum, and it's like, okay, you're 14 and you don't have authentic throwing mechanics, so like maybe we should put all these different modalities in place and try to solve that. And then on the other side of that spectrum, we have like, well, you're 14, like you have a lot of just natural like maturing and natural puberty hitting for you to grow and grow up. And it's like, well, what do you do? So I know it's tough, especially because in this day and age, like the talent level is so freaking so high, and everyone's so good, everyone throws so hard, and it's like if you have goals of aspiring even like Division I pitcher now, it's like you got to kind of get on this early. So I know how hard it can be and stressful it can be. But do I think 14 years old is too young to start weighted ball training? I don't know if there's a right answer to that. I think, again, it's like anything in baseball, any question in baseball, it's going to always kind of depend on the individual. The athlete is going to vary per guy. So you could have a 14-year-old, and not to brag, like me at 14 was probably more advanced than a lot of other people at 14. So like maybe I could have handled that stress and that load and, been fine, maybe improved from it. But like take a little Timmy who, isn't really, mature or strong enough or whatever the case may be, and you give him weighted balls and say, hey, throw harder. Like we're more than likely going to see little Timmy break down because he doesn't have those authentic throwing mechanics. And again, I know it's so tough because I'm not giving you a right or wrong answer, but at that age, it's really tough to kind of put a yes or no on it. I think there could potentially be 14-year-olds that implement like plyo ball stuff, but I would say for the mass majority at that age, I think there's better tools to utilize. I mean, for me, man, like, at 14 years old, I think I was a freshman in high school. The only tools or, training that I needed at that age was long toss and pull downs, stuff like that, provided me with everything I needed at that age to be pretty advanced. But, it's gonna, like I said, I apologize not giving you a right or wrong answer and kind of beating around the bush there, but there's not a yes or no to that. It's going to be depending on the individual. Do I think it's a necessity at that age? Absolutely not. Do I think it could be a valuable tool at that age? Probably. I kind of look at it now in the sense of like, you're a 14-year-old. If you play football, you're going to throw a football, and that's pretty heavy. So who knows? But yeah. Hopefully, maybe you took something from that. Hopefully you didn't. Hopefully you're just like, why am I still listening to this guy? Okay, I'm out.